Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cork Audio. As you can probably notice, the office and work area is a little bit different, and it's because, well, I've made some changes again. Throughout the year, I kind of make quite a few different changes, just depending on my workload and what I actually need. And a few months back, I'd actually taken this bench out to the other shop because I just needed somewhere I could do a lot of burn-in testing. I had quite a few tube amps coming in through here, and do this through the summer months when you're doing, long hour testing on tube amps, especially on multiple. It gets very hot very quickly, and I was sweating quite profusely in here, and it just was not a good time. So it made it a lot easier for me to actually do it in the other workshop, so that's where I took this out, and I was actually trying to make sort of a listening area in here. But I have kind of a different plan for that with some ADS speakers after I get those repaired, but that's something for a different day. I'm happy to have all my tools back where I can actually see them and access them a little bit easier, because where they were sitting, wires were getting damaged, and now I have to buy a new connector for my tone generator because I managed to break the last one that I had. But besides that, trying to finish up some other projects, but I needed this in here for a little bit extra space here in the office, but also I needed a little bit extra space out in the other shop for a new tool and for some new capabilities and new products that will be coming out in the coming months over the winter time. And let's go see exactly what that is. All right, so don't mind my mess too much because I'm still trying to make room for exactly where this is going to go and where everything else is going to go. So it's still a complete mess out here, and that's going to be one of the things I'm working on through this week and weekend, is getting this back up to par and cleaned. But this is the newest addition to the Cork tool set. This is a Shopsmith V10. This is essentially a woodworking multi-tool, and it's going to allow me to offer quite a few different woodworking projects that are related to audio, such as I've been wanting to do a new hi-fi rack, and I also have been looking at doing amplifier stands, because I work on a lot of big amplifiers and I don't always like just putting it on a carpet, because even with it being heavy, it's going to sink down into the carpet, and then it's kind of flush. I want to have it up where it can actually breathe properly and not just set in the carpet. So there's a lot of people, I've got a lot of access to different woods around here, especially like mahogany or oak, and I just have ready slabs, live edge slabs ready to go, and well, this will make it possible for me to create those kind of things, because it's kind of an all-in-one inclusive tool. So as it sits right now, it is kind of set up as a lathe. So you'd actually put your stock in here. You've got your tool rest that you can adjust the elevation of. You can lock it wherever you need it to, etc. But everything's kind of based around this motor here. So you can have all manner of different attachments, like right here. This is an extra. This is a bandsaw, so you'd have something like this power coupling that you could just mount there. Made it up. You lock down the motor, and you turn it on, and you'd have a bandsaw. All your speed control is here, and it actually has the different modes here. That's something that you have to change while it's actually running, because it's a multi-belt drive system, and that's what I had to deal with yesterday. Luckily, this had been somewhat taken care of, so the belts are still in good condition. They are pretty much brand new and had been replaced at some point, but it hadn't been used in a little while, so they've kind of stretched and elongated from just sitting as they were. So kind of help trying to stretch those back out and make them more malleable again, just by running the engine. So went ahead and lubricated the inside as well. I had to rebuild the speed control a little bit because it was getting bound up, but that was just a common issue with some of the teeth being messed up in there. So fixed the teeth, put this back together. That turned into a multi-hour project I didn't expect, but considering how decent a unit this is, I'm glad that that's all that it needed, because some of the other ones that have been abused or just left for a long time, you'd have to have all new bearings, all kinds of stuff, and I didn't want to do just, a complete rebuild. I want something that I could actually use. I didn't want some other project. So she's pretty much ready to be tested. Everything's kind of been lubricated, cleaned up. I still have some things to clean up, but that's just going to be as I learn the different tools and be able to use them and figure out, what actually needs to be done to them for it to work properly. So, as I was saying, it is a multi-tool, everything based around this motor here. So it just depends on whatever you actually need it to be. So you can have it as a bandsaw. Currently it's as a lathe. There is also take that off. There are other attachments. I have a joiner over here as well. So if you needed the joiner, just go ahead and mount it in there. You have to drop that collet down, mount it up, lock the motor, turn it on, set your speed, and then you'd have your joiner. But there's other cool accessories and attachments as well, and other possibilities. Just depending on what you actually have on hand out of the Shopsmith kits. Right, so for this current setup, it is now, I just have this on the casters right now. You actually lock everything down, of course, when you're using it. You lock it in. And now, we have a fully functional drill press. So the first projects that I'm going to be doing with the drill press is actually finishing my turntable. I have a Techniques SL1200 MK2, and they actually have a metal plinth, a metal base. And I'm doing an engine turned finish. If you look that up, it's kind of like small machined circles in perfect lines. And my previous drill press was too small of a work area for me to accommodate that, but this is going to be perfect for that because I have a lot more maneuverability and of course a much bigger motor, so it'll be easier to handle that kind of thing. So building off of our drill press, now we have a horizontal line bore machine. So this will help me drilling holes in some of the chassis, or just typically making furniture or anything essentially. I mean, it's just a great tool to actually be able to have a line bore instead of having to use just a regular drill and trying to keep it precise, going perpendicular to the actual stock that you're working with. So there is line bore machine. So here we have the table saw. Now I am missing a set of tubes and a set of supports because this is actually supposed to come out further and has a couple of supports that go straight to the ground And then there's supposed to also be a set of tubes that interconnect this so that you have this much larger table. I actually have the extensions, but like I said, I'm missing a set of tubes, so I'm either going to have to make or find a set of those. But they're just simple tubes, so I'll probably be able to make something fairly easy for them. But this is the table saw, and in this configuration, you can also swap out this center portion for the disc sander. There's a disc sander. Here's the actual safety piece too. There's a lower section that's supposed to be attached with your saw blade, and then of course you have that. I also love this. This is something kind of unique for Shopsmith. This is so you can actually hold whatever piece you are working with here for perfect precision. You can actually just drop it on there, and then it holds it. Of course, you gotta tighten it down a bit. And then you will be able to actually just push it straight across. It also has the protractor there, so if I'm doing any kind of angles, I'll be able to make that perfect. So here's the actual attachment for the disc sander. Not exactly sure how it's attached. It looks like it still has a piece on it, or it's just been overly used, but I'll have to look more into that. Like I said, it's still kind of new to me, so I am trying to figure out what I have and what I don't. And what I do have is a good unit with a lot of good parts. The 510 is one of the better models that people look for. Of course, the 520 is a little bit better. It's just a bit more upgrades to the actual table with some more fences and stuff like that. And that is one thing that I am missing. I'm missing the rip fence. So that'll be one of the first things that I'm going to look at getting. If someone has an extra, I'd appreciate it if you reach out to me, because I kind of feel like I need that, especially with the line bore or the drill press or anything. It's used through pretty much every tool besides the lathe, so I'd really like to have that. I'm also missing some of the tools. So of course for the lathe you'd have your woodworking chisels. This one's kind of rather rusty, but still okay condition. I could still clean it up, but I still need a set of chisels to be able to use the lathe. I've got a saw blade, but I've not really checked the condition of it yet. That's, yeah. I know there's also an attachment that you could use a dado blade on this as well, but I don't think that I have that. Just a typical saw blade. But like I said, that's the most important part. The most important part is having the base unit, and the rest is just stuff that you can find later. There are some models, sometimes when buying these used, you can actually find somebody who has like all of those accessories, but at the same time, that's something that kind of made me worried. The fact that this doesn't have all those accessories, the extra sanding pads and everything, that just means that this is a used machine. I know that works. And sometimes when something's been sitting for a period of time, it's not really a good thing. It causes it to rust, it causes it to have all kinds of other issues. Like I said, the belts on this were already starting to have that issue, let alone if somebody had let the machine sit for decades or something, the belts would need replaced, possibly the bearings, and you'd have all the accessories and stuff, but then you'd have to rebuild the machine. This is just something, like I said, it's been used. This was the gentleman's third unit that he's had throughout its lifetime, and I plan on putting some use on it. And honestly, I don't like buying new stuff because the very first scratch or anything hurts the worst for any new thing. Because you hate it and it's immediately drawn to your attention. this is a tool. It's meant to be used. It's already been used. It's already got some scuffs and everything, but you know, so do I, and it's good to go and ready to go. So I'll be sharing some more progress with this as I actually get the tools to start working with this. But like I said, I plan to expand what I can do custom-wise in the world of audio. If it's a custom case for a chassis, if it's something I'll be able to do with this. I can even do little simple things like pens or other turning. I plan on trying some wood chassis for a couple projects that I have been working on for a little while. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but I did want to show off my new tool a little bit, my Shopsmith V10. This is something I've wanted for a long time because, I mean, it is a big tool, but it takes up a much smaller footprint than the multiple tools that you would need to have the same versatility that this does. And you only have one motor that can have an issue that goes out. And even if it is, I mean, it's still fully serviceable. It's made in America. Just about anything you can still buy from them, or it's available as an upgrade, such they even have, you can digitize your speed controller. Of course, you can replace the bearings. There's new motors available. That's just right down here at the bottom. That's a procedure just to take that out and swap it out. Like I said, the table upgrades are there. There's all manner of different attachments that I'm sure that I'll try and find eventually. Like there's planers, there's all manner of things. Just about anything that you can imagine as a woodworking tool, they have figured out a way to couple it to this motor. So I plan to get as many of those as I can to expand my my capabilities, such as the next thing I'll be looking at is figuring out how to turn this into a router as well, because I know there's a way to do that. Oh, at least I think there is. I know the newest models do, but I don't know about these. But anyway, I'm just kind of ranting, and I've got some work to do. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates, and can't wait to show you some of the stuff that is going to come off of this Shopsmith. Hopefully the next video will be this in action.